Struggling with anger? Try these 3 life-changing tips. Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. Are you tired of losing your temper and regretting it later? Do you feel like anger controls you instead of the other way around? Today, I am going to reveal 3 life-changing secrets that will completely transform how you handle anger. By the end of this video you will master techniques that work immediately to calm your mind and body. Your relationships will improve, your stress will disappear, and you will feel more in control than ever before. But here is the most important part. The third technique I share at the end of this video is so powerful that it might just change your life forever. It is something most people never learn, but once you understand it you will wonder how you ever lived without it. So make sure to watch until the very end, because missing that final secret would be a huge mistake. What situations make you most angry? Is it traffic jams, rude people at work, or family members who do not listen? Let me tell you about someone I worked with recently. This person was a marketing executive who looked successful on the outside but was falling apart on the inside. Every time someone disagreed with them in meetings they felt their chest tighten, their face flush, and this overwhelming need to defend themselves aggressively. The breaking point came during a crucial presentation. When a colleague questioned some data, this executive completely lost control. They raised their voice, interrupted the colleague, and stormed out of the conference room in front of senior management. Later that evening they sat in their car crying because they realized their anger was destroying everything they had worked for. The promotion they wanted for 2 years was gone because their manager said they could not handle professional disagreements. That night this person made a decision that changed everything. They committed to learning how to control their anger instead of letting it control them. Within 6 months they transformed not only their career but also their personal relationships. The techniques they learned are exactly what I am going to teach you today. Here is what most people do not understand about anger. It is not something that happens to you randomly. Anger is actually a skill you can master, just like learning to play piano or speak a foreign language. The problem is nobody ever teaches us how to do it. We just expect ourselves to naturally know how to handle intense emotions, but that is like expecting someone to drive a car without ever taking lessons. Today I am going to give you those lessons. The 3-step system I am about to share has helped thousands of people take back control of their emotional lives. By the time this video ends you will have practical tools that work immediately in any situation. Step 1 is becoming aware of your anger before it explodes. This is absolutely critical because once anger reaches the boiling point it becomes much harder to control. Most people think anger comes out of nowhere, but that is completely wrong. Your body and mind always give you warning signs if you know how to recognize them. Think about the last time you got really angry. I want you to replay that moment in your mind right now. What happened in your body first? Did your shoulders tense up? Or did your hands clench into fists? Maybe you felt heat rising in your chest, or your breathing became shallow and fast. These physical changes are your early warning system telling you that anger is building. Your thoughts change too when anger starts rising. You might notice your mind racing or replaying the frustrating situation over and over. Some people start imagining arguments or thinking about what they want to say to get revenge. Others find their thoughts becoming darker and more negative than usual. Pay attention to how your behavior shifts as well. Do you start speaking faster or louder when you get frustrated? Maybe you pace around the room or fidget with objects. Some people withdraw and become quiet while others become more aggressive in their body language. The executive I mentioned earlier discovered something fascinating about their anger patterns. Their biggest trigger was feeling like their expertise was being questioned. Whenever someone disagreed with their ideas, they immediately interpreted it as a personal attack on their intelligence. Once they recognized this automatic thought pattern, they could catch themselves before losing control. Here is your homework for this week. I want you to become a detective of your own anger. Start paying attention to your personal triggers. What specific situations push your buttons every single time? Is it when people interrupt you or when they break promises? Maybe you get angry when you feel disrespected, or when things do not go according to your plans. Also notice your unique warning signs. Everyone has different signals that anger is building. Some people feel it in their stomach, others in their shoulders or jaw. Some people get hot while others feel like their thoughts are spinning out of control. The more aware you become of your personal patterns, the more power you have to change them. Write down what you discover. Keep a small notebook or use your phone to track when you feel anger rising. Note what triggered it, what you felt in your body, and what thoughts went through your mind. After a week, you will start seeing patterns that you never noticed before. Now let me teach you step 2, which is what to do the exact moment you feel anger starting to build. This is where everything changes, because instead of being a victim of your emotions, you become the master of them. These techniques work immediately to interrupt your anger response and bring you back to a calm, clear state of mind. The most powerful technique I can share with you is called the 4-7-8 breathing method. This is not just some relaxation trick. It actually changes your brain chemistry and nervous system in real time. When you get angry, your body activates what scientists call the fight or flight response. Your heart rate increases, stress hormones flood your system, and your rational thinking shuts down. The 4-7-8 breathing technique reverses this process completely. It activates your parasympathetic nervous system, which is responsible for rest and relaxation. Within just a few breaths, you can shift from an angry reactive state to a calm thinking state. Let me walk you through this technique right now, and I want you to try it with me. Do not just watch this passively. Actually do the breathing exercise, because that is the only way you will understand how powerful it really is. First, exhale completely through your mouth, making a whoosh sound. Get all the air out of your lungs. Now close your mouth and breathe in quietly through your nose for 4 counts. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold your breath for 7 counts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Finally, exhale completely through your mouth for 8 counts, making that whoosh sound again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Did you feel that shift? Your nervous system just changed gears. That is your body moving from stress mode into relaxation mode. Let's do 3 more cycles together so you really understand how this works. Breathe in through your nose for 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold for 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Out through your mouth for 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Again, breathe in for 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold for 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Out for 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. One more time, breathe in for 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold for 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Out for 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Notice how you feel right now compared to when we started. Most people feel noticeably calmer and more centered. That is the power of conscious breathing. You can use this technique anywhere at any time. In a meeting, during an argument with your family, or stuck in traffic. Nobody even has to know you are doing it. The second immediate technique is what I call the pause and reframe method. When you feel anger building, instead of reacting automatically, you create a brief pause and ask yourself 3 crucial questions. This technique transforms you from someone who reacts emotionally to someone who responds strategically. Question 1. What am I really angry about? This might sound obvious, but often what appears to be anger is actually hurt, disappointment, fear, or frustration wearing an anger mask. When you dig deeper, you often discover that the surface issue is not what is really bothering you. Question 2. Is my anger proportional to what actually happened? Often we react much more strongly than the situation deserves. This happens when we are already stressed from other areas of our life, or when the current situation reminds us of past hurts. By asking this question, you can separate the present moment from everything else that might be influencing your reaction. Question 3. What response would actually help this situation? This is the most important question because it shifts your focus from emotional reaction to problem solving. Instead of thinking about how to get revenge or prove you are right, you start thinking about what would actually improve the situation or relationship. Let me show you how this worked for our marketing executive. When their colleague questioned the data, instead of immediately getting defensive, they took a mental pause. They asked themselves, what am I really angry about, and realized they were not actually angry about the question itself. They were afraid that people would think they were incompetent or unprepared. Then they asked, is my anger proportional to what happened? They realized that asking questions about data is actually normal and professional. Their strong reaction was coming from their own insecurities, not from anything the colleague actually did wrong. Finally, they asked what response would help this situation. Instead of arguing or defending, they said, thank you for bringing that up, let me double check those numbers and get back to you tomorrow. This response actually strengthened their professional reputation because it showed they were open to feedback and committed to accuracy. Practice the pause and reframe method this week. When someone does something that irritates you, stop for just 10 seconds. Take a breath and ask those 3 questions. What am I really feeling? Is my reaction fitting this situation? What response would be most helpful here? This simple pause will change everything about how you handle conflict and frustration. Now let me share step 3, which is building long-term emotional resilience so anger stops controlling your life forever. Think of this as creating an emotional immune system that makes you naturally calmer, stronger, and more balanced. These are lifestyle changes that transform your baseline emotional state. Physical exercise is one of the most underestimated anger management tools available. When anger hits, your body produces stress hormones like cortisol and adrenaline. These chemicals are designed to give you energy to fight or run from physical threats. But in modern life we usually cannot do either, so these hormones just build up, making us feel agitated and ready to explode. Exercise gives your body a natural outlet for these stress chemicals. You do not need to become a bodybuilder or marathon runner. Even a brisk 10-minute walk when you feel frustrated can completely change your emotional state. Regular exercise also increases your brain's production of endorphins, which are natural mood stabilizers and stress reducers. Our marketing executive discovered this by accident. They started taking a walk every lunch break instead of eating at their desk. This simple change dramatically improved their ability to handle afternoon stress and conflicts. When challenging situations arose, they had more emotional reserves to draw from because they were not carrying built-up stress from the morning. Sleep is another crucial factor that most people completely overlook in anger management. When you do not get enough quality sleep, the prefrontal cortex, which controls impulses and rational thinking, does not function properly. At the same time, your amygdala, which processes emotions including anger, becomes hyperactive. This deadly combination makes you much more likely to lose your temper over minor issues. Most adults need 7 to 9 hours of quality sleep for optimal emotional regulation. If you are not getting enough sleep, that should be your first priority before trying any other anger management techniques. Create a consistent bedtime routine. Avoid screens for at least 1 hour before bed. Keep your bedroom cool and dark and avoid caffeine after 2 in the afternoon. Your diet also plays a bigger role in emotional control than you might realize. When your blood sugar drops rapidly, you become irritable and much more likely to snap at people. This is why some people get angry when they are hungry. Eating regular meals that include protein, healthy fats and complex carbohydrates keeps your blood sugar stable throughout the day. Our executive noticed they were much more likely to lose their temper when they skipped breakfast or worked through lunch. Once they started eating regular nutritious meals, their baseline irritability decreased significantly. They also discovered that caffeine made their anger more intense, so they switched to green tea, which gave them energy without the jittery feelings. Now let me teach you about a powerful tool called the Anger Awareness Journal. This might sound simple, but it is incredibly effective for understanding your patterns and triggers. Every time you feel angry, write down what happened, what you were thinking, what you felt in your body, and how you responded. After tracking your anger for just 2 weeks, you will start seeing patterns that were invisible before. Maybe you always get angry when you are tired or hungry. Perhaps certain people or situations consistently trigger you. You might notice that your anger is worse during stressful periods at work or when you feel overwhelmed by responsibilities. Once you see these patterns, you can start preparing for them. If you know you get irritable when you are hungry, you can pack healthy snacks. If certain people always push your buttons, you can mentally prepare yourself before interacting with them. Knowledge is power when it comes to emotional regulation. Mindfulness and meditation are not just spiritual practices, they are practical tools for building emotional control. Mindfulness means paying attention to what is happening right now without getting caught up in judgments or automatic reactions. When you practice mindfulness regularly, you develop what psychologists call emotional regulation skills. You learn to observe your emotions without being completely controlled by them. Instead of being swept away by anger, you can notice it arising and choose how to respond. This does not mean suppressing or ignoring emotions. It means developing a different relationship with them, where you are the conscious observer rather than the unconscious victim. Start with just 5 minutes of meditation each day. Sit quietly, focus on your breathing, and when thoughts arise, simply notice them without fighting them and gently return your attention to your breath. There are many free apps that can guide you through this process. The goal is not to stop thinking or feeling, but to develop the ability to choose your responses instead of reacting automatically. Building strong communication skills prevents many anger-triggering situations from happening in the first place. Most conflicts arise from misunderstandings, unmet expectations, or poor communication that could be resolved through honest, respectful conversation. When you learn to express your needs clearly and listen actively to others, you reduce the chances that you will feel frustrated or taken advantage of. Practice setting healthy boundaries in all your relationships. Many people get angry because they consistently say yes to things they want to say no to, then feel resentful later. Learning to communicate your limits kindly but firmly prevents this buildup of resentment that eventually explodes as anger. Active listening is a skill that can dramatically reduce interpersonal conflict. When someone says something that triggers you, instead of immediately formulating your rebuttal, focus completely on understanding their perspective. Ask questions to clarify what they mean, paraphrase what you heard to make sure you understand, and acknowledge their feelings, even if you disagree with their position. This approach does not mean you have to agree with everything others say or give up your own needs. It means you approach disagreements as problems to solve together rather than battles to win. People are much more likely to listen to your perspective when they feel heard and understood first. Forgiveness is one of the most misunderstood but powerful tools for releasing anger and moving forward with your life. Many people think forgiveness means excusing bad behavior or pretending nothing happened, but that is completely wrong. True forgiveness means choosing to let go of the anger and resentment you are carrying so you can focus your energy on positive aspects of your life. Holding on to anger is like gripping a hot coal with the intention of throwing it at someone else. You are the one who gets burned. When you stay angry about past hurts, you give those experiences and people continued power over your emotional state. Forgiveness is a gift you give yourself, not the person who hurt you. The forgiveness process takes time and often needs to be repeated multiple times. Start by acknowledging your hurt and anger without trying to minimize or dismiss your feelings. Then make a conscious choice to release the desire for revenge or punishment. This is not about condoning harmful behavior, it is about freeing yourself from the prison of resentment. Creating a strong support system is essential for long-term success in anger management. Share your goals with trusted friends or family members who can offer encouragement and accountability. Let them know what kind of support is most helpful, whether that is someone to talk through problems with, someone to exercise with, or someone who can gently remind you to use your coping strategies when they notice you getting stressed. Spend time with people who model healthy emotional regulation and conflict resolution skills. The people you surround yourself with have a significant influence on your own emotional patterns and behaviors. If you are constantly around people who handle disagreements by yelling or being passive-aggressive, it becomes much harder to develop healthier responses yourself. Professional help can be incredibly valuable if your anger is significantly affecting your relationships, work, or quality of life. A therapist who specializes in anger management can help you identify underlying issues that contribute to your anger and develop personalized strategies for your specific situation. Some people discover that their anger is connected to past trauma, depression, anxiety, or other conditions that benefit from professional treatment. There is absolutely no shame in seeking professional help for anger management. It shows strength and commitment to improving your life and relationships. Group therapy or anger management classes can also be helpful because they provide opportunities to practice new skills in a supportive environment and learn from others who are dealing with similar challenges. Now let me share the third technique that I promised would change your life forever. This is something most people never learn, but once you understand it, you will have incredible power over your emotional responses. It is called the Emotional Regulation Toolkit, and it combines everything we have talked about into a practical system you can use anywhere, anytime. Here is how it works. You create a personalized list of strategies that work specifically for you when anger strikes. This might include the 4-7-8 breathing technique, taking a brief walk, calling a supportive friend, doing some quick stretches, listening to calming music, or repeating a calming phrase to yourself. The key is to write this toolkit down and keep it easily accessible on your phone or somewhere you can find it quickly. When anger hits, your thinking becomes cloudy and you might forget what usually helps you. Having a written reminder makes it much more likely that you will actually use these tools when you need them most. But here is the life-changing part that most people miss. You must practice these techniques when you are calm so they become automatic when you are stressed. You cannot learn to swim during a flood, and you cannot learn emotional regulation during a heated argument. Set aside time each day to practice your toolkit strategies even when you do not need them. This daily practice literally rewires your brain. Neuroscientists have discovered that regular practice of emotional regulation techniques creates new neural pathways that make calm responses more automatic. Instead of your brain defaulting to anger and reactivity, it starts defaulting to the calm, regulated responses you have been practicing. Our marketing executive did this religiously for 6 months. Every morning they would spend 10 minutes practicing breathing techniques and visualization. They would imagine challenging situations and mentally rehearse responding calmly. When real conflicts arose, their brain automatically accessed these practiced responses instead of falling back on old patterns of reactivity. The transformation was remarkable. Not only did they get the promotion they wanted, but they also became known as one of the most level-headed leaders in their company. Their personal relationships improved dramatically as well because their family and friends felt safer and more comfortable around them. Environmental factors also play a significant role in your emotional state. Consider how your physical surroundings affect your stress levels and anger triggers. Cluttered, disorganized spaces can contribute to feelings of overwhelm and irritability. Loud noises, harsh lighting, and uncomfortable temperatures can all increase stress and make anger more likely. Create calm, peaceful spaces in your home and workplace that support emotional balance. This might mean decluttering your desk, adding plants to your office, playing soft background music, or using essential oils to create a more relaxing atmosphere. Small environmental changes can have a surprisingly big impact on your overall emotional state. Time management skills are often overlooked in anger management discussions, but they are incredibly important. Many people become angry because they feel constantly rushed, overwhelmed by responsibilities, or frustrated by their inability to accomplish everything they want to do. Poor time management leads to chronic stress, which makes anger much more likely. Learn to prioritize tasks, set realistic goals, and build buffer time into your schedule. Practice saying no to commitments that do not align with your priorities and delegate tasks whenever possible. Remember that perfectionism often contributes to time management problems and ultimately to anger when things do not go according to unrealistic expectations. The relationship between physical health and emotional regulation is stronger than most people realize. Chronic pain, illness, hormonal imbalances, and medication side effects can all contribute to irritability and anger. If you notice significant changes in your anger levels or emotional regulation, consider discussing potential medical causes with your healthcare provider. Regular medical checkups and preventive care help ensure that physical health issues do not undermine your emotional well-being. This includes properly managing chronic conditions like diabetes or heart disease that can affect mood and energy levels. Taking care of your physical health is an essential part of taking care of your emotional health. Building resilience is like developing emotional muscle that gets stronger with practice. Resilience is your ability to bounce back from setbacks, handle stress effectively, and maintain emotional balance during challenging times. Every time you successfully manage your anger or handle a difficult situation calmly, you build confidence in your ability to stay centered under pressure. Resilience building activities include challenging yourself in manageable ways, learning new skills, maintaining strong social connections, practicing gratitude regularly, and finding meaning and purpose in your experiences. People with high resilience recover more quickly from disappointments and are less likely to become overwhelmed by daily stressors. The role of self-compassion in anger management cannot be overstated. Many people become just as angry at themselves as they do at others when they make mistakes or fail to meet their own expectations. This self-directed anger can be just as destructive as anger toward other people, and it creates cycles of shame and self-criticism that make emotional regulation even harder. Self-compassion involves treating yourself with the same kindness you would show a good friend. When you make a mistake, instead of harsh self-criticism, try saying something like, "Everyone makes mistakes and I can learn from this experience." Acknowledge that struggles and setbacks are part of the human experience rather than personal failures that define your worth. Practice celebrating your successes in anger management, no matter how small they might seem. When you successfully use a breathing technique, when you pause before reacting, Or when you choose a calm response over an angry one, acknowledge and appreciate that progress. These small victories build up over time and create lasting positive changes in your emotional patterns. Remember that managing anger is a journey, not a destination. There will be setbacks and times when you react more strongly than you would like. Instead of viewing these moments as failures, see them as valuable learning opportunities. What triggered you? What could you do differently next time? How can you better prepare for similar situations in the future? Every challenge you face is a chance to strengthen your emotional regulation skills. The goal is not to never feel angry again, because anger is a normal human emotion that sometimes provides important information. The goal is to develop the ability to feel your emotions without being controlled by them, and to respond to situations in ways that align with your values and long-term goals rather than your immediate impulses. The benefits of improved anger management extend far beyond just feeling less angry. People who develop strong emotional regulation skills tend to have better relationships, more successful careers, improved physical health, and greater overall life satisfaction. They are viewed as more trustworthy and reliable by others, and they experience significantly less stress and anxiety in their daily lives. Your improved emotional regulation will also positively impact everyone around you. When you respond calmly to conflicts and challenges, you model healthy behavior for your children, co-workers, and friends. You help create more positive, peaceful environments wherever you go. And you contribute to breaking cycles of reactivity and conflict that might have been passed down through generations. As we reach the end of our time together today, let me remind you of the 3 powerful steps we have covered for mastering your anger and transforming your emotional life. First, learning to recognize your triggers and warning signs before anger explodes so you can intervene early when you still have control. Second, using immediate techniques like the 4-7-8 breathing method and pause and reframe strategy to regain your composure in heated moments. Third, building long-term emotional resilience through exercise, sleep, nutrition, mindfulness, communication skills, and your personalized emotional regulation toolkit. The most important thing to remember is that change happens through consistent practice, not through trying to transform everything at once. Choose just one technique that resonated most strongly with you today. Commit to practicing it every single day for the next week and pay attention to how it affects your emotional responses and overall stress levels. Once that technique becomes natural and automatic, add another strategy to your routine. I want to hear about your journey in the comments section below. What anger triggers did you identify while watching this video? Which technique are you planning to try first? Have you already started practicing any of these strategies, and if so, what results are you seeing? Your experiences and progress reports not only help me create better content, but they also inspire and encourage other viewers who are working on the same challenges. If this video provided value and helped you understand anger management in a new way, please show your support by giving it a thumbs up. That simple action tells YouTube that this content is helpful and allows more people who are struggling with anger to find these strategies. Also, please share this video with someone in your life who might benefit from these techniques. Maybe it is a family member who struggles with their temper, a co-worker who gets stressed easily, or a friend who has mentioned feeling overwhelmed by their emotions. Sharing valuable information is one of the greatest gifts you can give someone. Make sure you subscribe to our channel if you have not already, and hit that notification bell. Remember that you have far more power over your emotional responses than you might currently believe. With the right knowledge, consistent practice, and patience, you can develop the ability to handle even the most challenging situations with calm confidence and wisdom. Anger does not have to control your life, relationships, or future anymore. Thank you so much for watching today and for taking the time to invest in your emotional well-being. Take care of yourself, practice these techniques with compassion and patience, and I will see you in our next video.